Bat Force Radio.
Bat Force Radio is rated M for mature, or should that be immature?
Hey guys, Dustin Wynn.
Hey, this is Scott Snyder.
This is Paul Dini.
And you're listening to Bat Force Radio.
And you're listening to Bat Force Radio.
You're listening to Bat Force Radio.
This is Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman, and you're listening to Bat Force Radio, so stay tuned.
What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 6 of For the Horde podcast, brought to you by Bat Force Radio. Now, I am recording the intro like this because my guest, Travis Ryan, there he is right there, very handsome individual, from the band Cattle Decapitation from San Diego, death metal / grindcore. We just got off to the races and didn't even stop to do an intro or even introduce who he is and what he does properly. We just immediately started talking about his G.I. Joe action figure collecting that he's been recently getting into, and we just kept going from there. Actually, about 40 minutes into the episode is when I finally stop and give him a proper intro, and we start talking more in depth about the band thing. But the first 20, 30 minutes is all about geeking out about collecting. So if you're into it, definitely start from there. If you want to just listen to there's band stuff peppered in all throughout. So you're going to enjoy the interview overall, I think. I want to thank Metal Blade and Nikki for helping me put this on, and enjoy the episode, guys. All right, well, we'll talk about that because can I ask? Well, I'll ask you about the G.I. Joes, man. Especially,
I was never much into comic books except for G.I. Joe, Aliens. This is early '80s, mid '80s. Aliens. They had comic books, Predator, and shit like that. But I never got into the comic, the popular shit, or you know, the DC universe or the
big two,
Marvel, or any of that stuff. What do you call? What would you get? Superhero shit. I was never my thing. Same with wrestling, but G.I. Joe, Transformers, He-Man. Oh God.
Yeah. Well,
Absolutely.
I mean, if you're an action figure guy, it's fucking crazy out there right now. As far as all the,
it's insane. Well, and look at this, my T-shirt.
Oh, there you go.
The COVID put the kibosh on logistics, supply chains, and all that kind of crap. And at the same time, right when it started, stupid Hasbro goes and drops this. I haven't bought a Joe fig in I guess whenever the 50th anniversary stuff left off. So it was nice. I was able to not have to worry about it, but the second I saw that classified, I was just like, we'll see. I don't know. And then the second I saw it in person and stuff, I was just like, oh, this is actually really, really cool. But dude, finding them as a 46-year-old man, unemployed, self-employed. Sorry. I've been self-employed since '08, but I had the time to drive around town and find this stuff, and you still can't find it. Oh, meanwhile, everybody else is at work, and I'm going there at 8 a.m. to get this stupid Joe figure, and there's 8 other scalpers or fans or whatever in line for 6 figures, whatever a case is, and then the stupid employees being in on it. All this stuff. I mean, you follow. You've been. I could tell you've followed this ridiculous insanity.
It's funny, dude. So I have, with the podcast thing, with the comic stuff, it bleeds into everything, right? So, we're a bunch of, it's what it is. We're a bunch of grown men now who have the means to nerd out on the stuff that we loved as kids.
Disposable income. I don't have kids, so I'm able to do this stupid shit.
Yeah, and right now, the people who are running the companies and designing the toys are our age. They're they're dudes that are in their 30s and 40s that grew up with it, and now they're the ones that are like, you know what I fucking want? I'm gonna make this. And you're right, dude. Like, two of my buddies actually do an action figure podcast that's strictly all they talk about is just, and the GI Joe game right now, dude. Like,
so stupid.
There's videos on YouTube. I don't know if you've seen them where they've gone viral where these dudes are getting into fucking fights. Like,
yeah,
like they're snitching on each other for scalping and stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's this one, I don't know how real it is, but there's this employee who refuses to like put out, I forgot what happened. He found somebody put a tracker on his car because they were trying to track him whenever he was dropping off is it Mattel that makes the G.I. Joes?
No, Hasbro.
So it was a Hasbro guy. So it's like a Hasbro dealer like told his supervisor, like, I can't do this anymore. They're putting trackers on my car now of of collectors doing that, dude. So yeah, man, it's getting gnarly out there.
Yeah, there's this guy that runs this one page, like a Joe Collector page. I don't know if he runs it or whatever. Marauder Rubin, I think was his name. I'm pretty sure he went and got a job at Target. At least he made it look like he got a job at Target just so he could have first crack at the Joes. There was he had this shirt made that was the Cobra symbol, and in the middle is the Target logo, the circle, the Target logo. And it's a thing, man. I have friends that have friends at Hasbro, and they're saying, "Oh, we didn't see the demand being so high." And I'm like, "Nah, dude. Let's face it. Let's be honest. It's the same thing that's going on with PlayStation 5. You've got bots, people with bots, the scalpers that are buying hundreds at a time and then flipping them off to the side. Target doesn't care, or whoever the retailer is. The company doesn't care because they're like, they're being bought. Who gives a shit?"
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of those. I was just like, my friends were like, I'm first day buyer of PlayStation. I've never been a first day buyer of any console. I've waited years, 3 years most of the time.
Yeah.
And I was just like, nope, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna give it a year or two, and let the quirks get worked out. I'm not paying $800. I'm not paying a scalper.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to do that.
So you still haven't found one yet?
No.
Oh my God.
Well, I mean, not for, 500 or whatever. I'm going to get the disc one, and
yeah.
Part of me is also just doesn't really care because like with these Joes and stuff, like the only reason that I do get mad if I can't get it or something is the fact that like it's these bots, they're gonna cause it because now they're putting out more product because people can't find them. It's just like, no, don't do that. Don't put more friggin' little pieces of plastic on this earth. Let's sell the ones that you do have. Make them rather limited. Like, close out that backdoor, whatever. Close up your website to where bots can't come in there and take over. Like, let the collectors who just want one. Maybe two, one to open with, and then maybe another one to resell one day.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I try to do, but even I gave up on it because even just finding them is a joke.
Yeah.
And I hate Target. I hate these big box chains anyway. I don't want to support them, and to make them be the only people that have this is just stupid. So hopefully the bots, hopefully the scalpers eat shit and end up having to, as we're seeing with the Rise of Evil, He-Man's Rise of Evil stuff. Now there's like the shelves are stocked with them. Those things were going for, I don't know, $100 or something stupid.
Yeah, I saw that. I walked through the aisles to see a bunch of He-Man stuff now. It's easy to come by, and the Ninja Turtle stuff is getting like that too for a while. Like all the Ninja Turtle stuff was that was getting crazy, but then I walk by now and I see they're restocking on those too. So hopefully it dies down. But yeah, dude, it's funny because actually one of my buddies who works at Relapse, he was like, "Hey man, you have an in on the GI Joes, dude? I need some Vipers." Like, because he knows. I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I have like, there's a fucking community of us that are always like finger on the pulse, like, when they're gonna drop or whatever." So, and me personally, even though I don't collect the Joes, I'm always having like group chats with friends who do, and I'm hearing and seeing where where everything's at. And so like,
so what's your bag? What do you collect mainly?
You can't, it's out of focus in the back, but like, yeah, dude, like I'll tell you what happened. So when I was 3 years old, my parents took me to go see Batman 1989, the Tim Burton one, Danny Elfman's soundtrack, and like that fucking burned like a hole in my brain.
Nice.
Just like the whole everything, the visuals, the music, you know, the Danny Elfman score mixed with like the Tim Burton visuals, and like I just kind of got fucking obsessed with that. And so like I collect everything like 89, 92 Returns, Batman, Keaton. And, you know, I just started getting into the comics because of that. But I fucking love Star Wars. I loved He-Man when I was a kid. I loved Ghostbusters. And so like just in the last like 10 years, all these companies are just going nuts with the stuff that they're producing. And even though I don't have the room to collect it all, like I love just fucking looking at it, like Google searching it. And
it brings back memories. Like for me, just seeing the, you know, I'm not this big, some crazy toy collector. I really am not. I just got into He-Man because, well, I only collect stuff that is exactly like when I was a kid. That's how it came out.
Yeah,
that's exactly what it looked like. Mm-hmm. And just seeing this packaging, just seeing the logo, brings back floods of other memories that have nothing to do with toys or collecting or anything. Like it unlocks just seeing that with Joe's. It's seeing a row of the black boxes with the red, white, and blue logo and with the white G.I. Joe font and all that stuff. Just seeing that unlocks, you know, the time when my bike got stolen outside of a comic book store, and then how I got home and all this other stuff. It puts together, my neurons start connecting a little more and bringing back these either good memories or bad memories. I just think it's nice to have memories. I smoke a lot of weed. You could probably
no,
cut that out or whatever.
Our listeners do too. Don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I cherish the times I can remember.
Right.
I didn't want to get into classified because it doesn't resemble packaging wise. I'm one of those people that keeps all the shit in the packaging. It doesn't resemble necessarily the Joes that I grew up with. That the card and, you know, you got the guy in the bubble blister pack with his backpack and shit up above, and maybe his gun taped to the side, all that kind of crap. All that stuff it's like a not demonic, well maybe, but a mnemonic device that I used. And honestly, dude, I remember my mom when I was a kid when I got Destro. She was just like, you should keep one of these in the packaging. And I was like, what?
Whoa,
what the hell kind of concept is that, woman? And it turns out she was right. I should have listened to my mom. It would have been $1,000 figure when eBay came around, and I would have had $1,000. You know? Dude. But
your mom with the foresight. Look at that.
Seriously. And so ever since then, when the 2008 came around or whatever, and they started reissuing the 25th anniversary stuff, I was just like, well, I'll get one or two of these. And I just got obsessed, and I bought every single one of them. I skipped the movie line. I'm not this like crazy collector. I buy them for one, future resale, because G.I. Joe is Hasbro's like lowest run toy, from what I've heard of people that work there or whatever. It's one of their lowest run toys, and it ends up going for a lot on the secondary market. So I call it the cancer fund. I know that's horrible, but you know, one can't take it with you. So one day I'll hopefully be able to turn a profit on it or something. Yeah. And in the meantime, I sit there and I enjoy them, have a few beers, and I'll pull them out and then enjoy them in the package. And my wife and I were just talking about this earlier, how there's this charge you get. It's like you know, I could take this out and play with it and stuff, but there's this charge I get from having it in there, having it sealed, knowing the potential probably one day. And that's actually like last on the list. The monetary aspect or the investment aspect of it is kind of last on the list. But I still can enjoy. I'm 46. I'm not gonna. I don't have the time, and I probably wouldn't pull them out and play with them. I just it's not gonna. You know. Yeah. I bought a couple of that Snake Supreme Cobra Commander because they call it the Versace Coco. I had to get a couple of those because I had to bust one out. That was probably one of the coolest figures I've ever seen. I got the little stand so I can make them do poses or some shit. I have it sitting there on my desk, but that's it. I'm limited to that. G1 Transformers. That's it. G1 Transformers, He-Man Origins, and I'm giving Classified a shot just because they're really sick. But also, the retros that unfortunately are Walmart exclusives or whatever. I try to get them through Hasbro Pulse when I can, but whatever. And that's it, man. I don't have time to be a bigger nerd than that, unfortunately.
Your records behind you.
Yeah.
It bleeds into everything, man.
Exactly. Yeah. And like you said, it's a generational thing. It's cool. You can tell by actually, I don't know. How old are you?
30. I'm about to be 35.
So, but you still get it. Like I've noticed my friends that are in their early or mid 30s or whatever, and even early 30s, we're still part of, you guys still remember a lot of this stuff.
Oh yeah.
When it was coming out and shit. And then, early 90s, well, I was too old, but I felt I was starting to get into girls and skateboards and metal and whatever and playing music. So I kind of gave up the action figure thing, but they also started getting stupid. The G.I. Joes starting. I mean, come on, who's going to survive out in the field when you're fluorescent orange and green with some laser? It's not. You're gonna die. So
yeah, I think in general, toys like the quality and stuff like that, the way they were making them, kind of took a dive for a solid 20 years or so, and it wasn't until just recently, in like the last decade, when like you said, the guys that loved it as a kid are now the ones in charge of designing it and creating it. So it's like, fuck, man, like that's exactly how I remember it. And and it's like that with a lot of stuff. Like I don't know if you're into like horror action figures or anything like that, but this company called NECA, Randy's actually. Oh yeah. Yeah, Randy's a metalhead, and
he's a big metal guy here.
Yeah, they put out all the Iron Maiden figures and the Eddie figures,
Yeah,
and, those.
I was getting the Super 7 ones, and then
oh my god,
I collected all of those. I'm not even into honestly. I think the reaction figures are kind of
they are what they are. They're like
yeah. It's about the packaging, really.
Yeah,
the first one I got was the Pulp Fiction Gimp. We were playing in Austin, and I went next door to Hoax Death Metal Pizza. There was this there's this like weird curio sort of shop, but it had like pop culture crap, and I saw that figure and I was just like, oh dude, these are crappy, but I gotta get one. The Gimp, come on, it's too cool that it was an action figure. And then fast forward years later, I'm collecting the Iron Maiden ones, and then just recently, just like 2 weeks ago, I saw the NECA figures for the first time, and I was just like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, man, stay away, dude.
Those are sick. I know the Peace Sells, but Who's Buying one was the one that I saw. I think that's NECA.
Yeah, that one is, and it's got like the same color scheme as like the cover. It's like that bright neon, like orange, red, and
and pinkish, pink and purplish. Yeah, dude, that was the album for me, man.
Oh fuck yeah! And it's like, I still have that one in the box. I can't bring myself to open it. Are they doing another Vic Rattlehead Megadeth one? I can't remember if it was another Vic Rattlehead, or maybe it was just another Iron Maiden that they're doing. They're doing they're constantly doing the Iron Maiden ones, but they're doing man. They just got the license for the Universal Monsters, so they're coming out with like the Mummy and Frank. They just came out with Frankenstein. And they look so fucking classic and sick.
It's cool that like Super 7 on their end, they have like Ed Repka do the art. That guy's he did that Peace Sells, but Who's Buying cover, and the early Death albums, my favorite ones. That's cool. Like,
if I ever
attention to detail, man.
Right. If I ever buy like a reaction figure, I'm not going to open it because I'm gonna keep it for the card art. They're doing like a fully posable King Diamond. I think they're doing King Diamond. If you saw that one,
probably. I
pre-ordered it, so they're sending all the updates, like saying we're almost done. It's at the factory now. Who else are they doing? Did they do like that Ghost figure?
Yeah, I was gonna say, they're doing. we just signed on with a new management company, and it's actually the same
5B?
management as same as Megadeth and King Diamond and
Did you do a Travis Ryan figure?
Yeah, sure. They'll probably be staying away from the action figures, but and they were telling me about some of the stuff that's coming up, and I actually nerded out with the manager at the Super 7 location in downtown San Diego recently, and he was showing me some of the stuff coming up. The G.I. Joe stuff that they're doing is absolutely mind-blowing. It was as if they got right into my head and my buddy, some of my friends and people my age, and decided this is what this person wants, so we're going to do this. It's it's exactly what I would hope somebody would kind of do if you're gonna do something like that. But
did you ever go down to Comic-Con before the world ended?
Yeah. But actually, it's funny enough. I hate NAMM, and I just can't stand being around thousands of people like that. Even at big festivals and shit, I don't go walk around.
Isn't that crazy? Isn't it crazy considering now, even thinking about that?
Yeah, it's weird.
It's fucking weird.
So yeah, especially when you look at how they started, it was nothing. And I started going, but I would get in. I probably shouldn't throw them on, or expose them, incriminate them, but I would get in through certain friends that would hand me off people's passes.
Oh yeah, it's bought. It's already been bought. You're not.
Yeah, sure.
Everyone does it. Yeah.
And I went in there solely to buy the Hasbro G.I. Joe Transformers exclusives at the G.I. Joe exclusives. I wasn't even really collecting G1 stuff back then. I don't even think they had them. They would do the G.I. Joe Transformer crossover packs or whatever. That was really cool. But I got some of that stuff. I'm glad I did. I was one of those guys that, figured out ways for friends to stand in line with me, and my wife would stand there. I'd buy two and then flip one to pay for the one I got, and that kind of crap, And so it was solely motivated just by the Hasbro exclusives. For G.I. Joe. That's it. One toy.
And the Hasbro, I don't know about, I remember, because again, I'm the guy that does it for his friend. Hey man, can you try and get me this, whatever? So he's like, hey, can you try to get me the Hasbro, the new Stormtrooper from the new Star Wars movies? I was like, I feel like that's going to be really fucking hard to get. And sure enough, they made, I don't know about if you went most recently, but I remember I got to a point where they would make you go upstairs to wait in line.
Yes.
To push a button for a fucking
the pre-line. Yes, dude. I had to do that. It was the first year, walked up, stood there for 2 hours, got everything I needed, left. The next year, and then the year after, and the year after. I think I've only been a few times, and the rest of the times I did the Monday morning Monday morning sale thing, where if when Hasbro was, I don't know, it was required by law. Someone said it was required by law. I don't know what laws on the books that would make you do this, but they had to put up whatever they were selling at Comic-Con. They had to put it up in for sale to the general public, 8 a.m. Monday morning. And that's how I ended up getting the stuff when I couldn't make it into Comic-Con, was I'd have 2 or 3 people sitting there with me to enter in the details on different IPs, different computers, and would try to get as many as I could. And they'd limit it, one per customer, which I think is good. It helps fight the bots and stuff like that, because it's important that the consumer, or that the collectors and the fans get it.
A chance.
But if you have a chance to exploit the loophole,
fucking do
it. Whatever.
I remember standing in line, and this kid had already gotten his ticket. He got a fucking ticket. He won the lottery, and he was one of the first people that was in the line. And we had tried. We stood in line all morning. We tried to push the button, didn't fucking work, whatever. So we're standing in line behind this kid, and he's cosplaying. I don't know what the fuck he was, but he was some professor from some show, and just super nice kid, but such a fucking nerd. I'm a nerd, but this guy fucking pulls hard rank on me. And he's like, yeah, man, I got the ticket for Hasbro. And I was like, oh, whoa, dude, what are you going to get? You're only allowed 2 items, but I'm going to get no idea what the fuck. You wanted to get something. But I'm just going to get that. I'm like, you're not going to get 2? He's like, no, I'm just going to get 1 for myself. I'm like, dude, if I gave you money, would you please snag me the whatever trooper? He's like, oh, yeah, for sure.
Every time, dude. Fuck. Every single time. the person in front of you and the person behind you.
Yeah.
And it was like everybody turning. You see everybody else doing it too. So I'll get you. Oh yes. Oh, My Little Pony. No problem. I don't give a shit about My Little Pony. You bet your ass I'll get you that. You know. Yeah, that was fun.
It's gotten to a point where that's what it comes down to at those things now, where like you just swap and trade whatever you have access to.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude. So I mean, it's funny. You do have you obviously have that fucking collector bug in your head, and it kind of goes to other things. I think like, you know, you got your records, you got the music. I had no idea. I was listening to you on the Cali Death podcast, which is a super fucking sick podcast, by the way.
Oh yeah,
that those guys do. But hearing you talk about like every little detail of your band that you do, like down to the live fucking samples and the live like you know, the stuff that plays between songs and shit, like I'm like, dude, you're fucking obsessive over this stuff. Like,
oh yeah, the liner notes, especially all that kind of crap. The physical, when they start, when one day we don't have physical product, I'll probably be out of a job. I don't know what, you know, I'll just be writing lyrics that people won't be reading. At that point, I wouldn't even need lyrics because they won't have anything to read. Yeah. But yeah, you know, it's like just kind of scream into a mic. So it's like I see these guys doing hard work, going to practice every other day or whatever it was, and they write all the music. I come up with the lyrics. To me, it kind of writes itself, you know, especially subject matter wise. It's fairly easy to write about. So since that's the case, I try not to be the typical vocalist that just, you know, lets everybody else do the stuff while I collect all the accolades, you know, blah, blah, blah. The one thing I don't do is help them load their gear. They can... There's a reason why I switched from drums to vocals, but no, you know, I'm pretty typical in those regards, but I pay real attention to the merch and how things are presented and, you know, that kind of part of the band, the public perception or just, you know, the way things are perceived just by looking at it or listening to it. And videos are where I really go, oh, Jesus, can't we just not have to do this? Yeah. That's where I'd really like to just like try to put it in the director's hands. And probably why so many of them are so all over the board. You know, it's not like one person running the show and stuff. I kind of go, well, here's the lyrics. Yeah. Recreate the lyrics or something, you know. Yeah. Like our horrible, disgusting forced gender reassignment video. I told the guy, look, we don't have to worry about the label. They're not paying for this. We're paying for this. We don't have to worry about you know,
backlash.
Well, back in the day, you had to worry about like the label would be like, you got to make sure we can get it on MTV, or you got to make sure we can do this and this and this with it. And I told them, here's my idea for the video, and they're like, we just don't want our name attached to that, and I did not blame them at all. So we actually took their logo off the end of it because it's a very horrible, disgusting, brutal video, and it was kind of an experiment to see like, why doesn't Cannibal Corpse or bands like this, why don't they, you know, they have these disgusting, brutally, viscerally raw and just brutal, disgusting lyrics. Why don't they ever, you know, transpose those to the screen? Well, I guess if you were to do entrails ripped from a virgin's, you know what, then you would, you'd probably get, even back in '93, you might get canceled over that. Yeah. Well, or whatever.
It seems like you guys definitely, I remember that was on Monolith, right? That was off Monolith? Okay. It seemed like at the time that I just felt like that I mean, your name was everywhere because of that video, and it was like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. I don't remember there being much of a negative connotation to it so much.
Oh God, dude. Oh Jesus.
Was it? It was like you guys got fucked. Yeah. Okay.
We lost fans. We lost fans. Oh yeah. We gained fans. Gotta remember, due to the vegetarian or just conscious of animal welfare angle and stuff like that our earlier stuff took, or that some of our records have taken.
You had like got
a lot of hippies. Maybe we got a lot of hippie fans. I don't know. I remember this one guy. I forgot his name was like Raindrop, or I'm not kidding. His name was really ridiculous.
Beautiful.
Very hippie. You know, was just like, I'm done this is not okay. You should not have put this video out. This is not okay, blah, blah, blah. And it had some horrible things in it that even made me cringe, and I went over it with the director when we were making it, and he said, "Hey, dude, you told me all bets are off. Nobody, gave me this money, and I'm making this, and you said, do your thing, and I had some issues with a couple of the things. I ended up keeping it because he was right. He said, dude, why are you going to give special treatment to X, to this person, and not this person in the video? You just have to see it to see what I mean." And it was things I had problems with as ethically or whatever. But that was kind of part of the experiment. Was nobody's safe. Nobody's we can't. The whole idea was that nobody is safe here, and it's very revenge laden, and it takes these. It's basically spitting directly into the eyes and face of religious zealots, I guess, that feel they need to inject their moral standing into everybody in the world. Basically, I'm talking about religious, Christianity. Really, I grew up at a Catholic school, and so
Same.
I'm biased. I have I came out of there hating religion, hating organized religion, and I feel it's pretty much on the table as far as being able to poke fun or to condemn. It's a belief system. It's not a race. It's not it's a belief system. It's something you have all the control of in the world. But depending on the way you've been indoctrinated into it or whatever, it's I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. I feel like if there's any one organization that should know how to take a hit, it's the Catholic Church.
Sure. And I've always been vehemently against it. And the more I have openly talked shit about religion, the more people try to make it seem like it's a cancelable offense. Sorry, it's just not. It's not the same as sexual orientation or race or how you were born. Those are things that people don't have control over and are part of who they are. And sorry, but religion is to me it's something you have. I'm very on Bill Maher's side here.
I shoot shows sometimes. Like I do concert photography, and I was shooting Suffo in LA. Fucking crushed it, dude. Absolutely destroyed. Every fucking time.
That is a band that just they could have 50 different sound guys. They could have a different sound guy every night, but they're always going to sound not the same as in a bad way, in an excellent way, as in a completely they're dialed in way. Yeah. But they just destroy every single time. It's embarrassing to play with them because no matter how good you do, they're going to come up and wipe the floor with you.
I don't. See, this is how good they were. I don't remember who headlined. I think it was a co-headline. It might have been Belphegor. But
I think that's what it was, dude. Yeah.
Okay, so it was Belphegor. Nothing against Belphegor. They played, sounded great. But Suffo, man, like they make you forget about everything else on the bill. That being said, they fucking crushed it. Just an insane set, just fucking crushed. So like, I finished the set. I'm taking pictures in the pit, and I go out to the side stage in the back by the walkway, and I'm just like, this guy just fucking crushed it. Like he fucking crushed. Like just came off of an insane set, so he's probably like just fucking amped, right? So I back up against the wall just to let him walk by, and he stops right in front of me, fucking smiles and goes, "Hey man, awesome! Like, did you get some good shots?" And I was,
dude,
I was like stunned. I'm like, yeah, dude, you guys fucking owned. And he's like, "Oh man, that's great. Like, are you gonna post him somewhere?" Like, and he just started talking.
He's amazing. That's how you gotta be.
That's like, dude, have you? So like, I've gone back and I've read, especially on the last one, on the last Suffo album, he did like almost all the lyrics on it, and I've read the lyrics and reading his lyrics, dude. Like, I'm like, this guy fucking gets it. The stuff he's writing about, the themes he's talking about is exactly what like I've been reading the last year and a half about like consciousness, reality, like what your life should be about. Like it's suffocation. Yeah, it's about dying. Yeah, it's about brutality. But like the shit that he's talking about in the lyrics that relate to that is heavy as fuck, because it's like, okay, like when you die, you have nothing. That's your physical life. That's it. You're done. So what the fuck did you do while you were there?
Yeah.
And what is going to be remembered after you're gone? And like, where is your mind frame? Are you going to be positive and live? And is your consciousness going to survive positively, or are you going to fucking be this blotchy, shitty stain? That's all you were. And so like, I'm like, okay, dude, I got to be more like Derek. Like, I got to be positive. I got to be like cool, down to earth, like nicest fucking guy ever. Like just crushed a fucking set with Suffocation, destroyed, and then afterwards like, hey dude, what's going on?
Yeah, he's very personable like that. He's that dude was always meant to be in that band. I remember in the late 90s when he was in a band called Decapitation.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah.
And I was walking up to this record store I used to work at called Lou's Records. It's kind of a famous local San Diego institution as far as record stores go. And he comes walking out, and I don't know, I probably had a Deicide shirt on or something, and he's just like, fuck yeah, man, fucking Deicide, woohoo. Like as he's walking out to his car, and I was just like, who is that? To the guy who does all the metal buying, and he goes, oh, that's Derek. He's in a band called Decapitation, and he's just he is the guy that I get all the Unique Leader stuff from. So he was bringing in Disgorge and like, he would get the stuff. He was like a boots on the ground. Hey, I got San Diego covered. How about that? The entire county, he was boots on the ground, was promoting. Well, he wasn't even in these part of the label. He didn't work. He didn't like work for him. He probably, who knows if he even made any money off this. But he was doing it out of the pure love of death metal and the scene, and specifically, that's a very specific sound, the brutal death, of the Unique Leader of the late 90s and early 2000s. And that dude was so instrumental, at least in this area, which arguably, man, San Diego, it's not the home of brutal death metal. It's definitely the home of Suffocation cloning, I would say,
which is great. I love them.
With Slam and or some of these, like the big one being Disgorge, and who Diego. Him and I were in a band together, right across the street from here. Actually, was where he grew up, and I got to watch all of that stuff unfold and become a thing. Disgorge early on was just like, I remember a few people being like, oh, it's Suffocation worship or whatever. And I was like, yeah, but look what Ricky's doing. Just these weird drastic time changes that nobody was really doing at the time. Super fast. He sat on a bucket and played. Now he's a singer of Suffocation. But I think a lot of Suffocation led to that. I guess Slam was already coined by Internal Bleeding in the early 90s, but they led to that kind of proliferation of brutal death metal, and then which ended up merging with deathcore, and now they call it Slam. Sorry, that's what I saw happen as a person who was into death metal since 1990 or whatever. That's my take on it. That's how it appeared to me. Maybe I'm wrong, but Derek Boyer was always so. I mean, me and him are very similar, and we're very animated and hyper, and kind of maybe even anxious a little bit. But we're passionate, and that's a thing. And him and I, we see eye to eye on a lot of shit. We've done a lot of touring together. We have this, bond from being from Southern California, San Diego specifically. And yeah, dude, that guy's the man. I didn't know he wrote their lyrics, but that makes a lot of sense because he's tied into that band so perfectly. Like a lot of people ended up being that way. You know what? My laptop's gonna die. Let me just real quick. This isn't live, right?
No.
All right. Let me just grab my charger for a sec.
Do it.
Yeah. I got these in-ears right before. I went to NAMM. Well, I guess it was last year, 2020, because NAMM still happened before COVID really hit. And I got fitted for these stupid in-ears, and we've never been able to use them.
Sucks, dude.
$1,500 headphones.
Brutal,
It's basically
man.
what they are at this point. We'll see what happens.
Wow. But yeah. So, anyways, Derek is like my him and Bill are like my from Decrepit Birth are like my death metal Jesus examples of like, all right, you got to live a simple life like Bill, be positive like Derek, you know. But all right, so it's funny because we got started and just fucking went and like.
That's what I do, dude. I can't really stick. I'm very attention deficit disorder. I can't really stick to.
It makes my job easy because I just let you go. But
good.
So let's say, okay. Well, I'll start with this because I don't even think I did an intro or anything like that. Today, my guest is Travis Ryan from Cattle Decapitation, and so I guess we have a lot of people who are like comic book people, comic book nerds. That might not know like Cattle. They might not know like the San Diego scene. So if you had to like, I'm sure you have to do this all the time, like in your real life. God. Like, and it sucks. You're like, I'm in a band.
An abbreviated history.
Well, like what is just like 3 sentences on who you are, what your band is, like what you do.
Well, my name's Travis Ryan, and I've been doing vocals and lyrics and layouts and crap like that for Cattle since 2000. No, Jesus. I keep doing that, dude. I keep saying like the other day I said, "Oh, Carcass's Necroticism came out in 2004." No, it didn't. It was 94 or 93 or whatever.
Years,
you idiot.
10 years
yeah. I keep doing that, but started in like 97. They had been a band for a few months before I came in. Their guitar player vocalist kind of disappeared. I actually came in on guitar and vocals. But I suck at guitar, so that quickly moved to what our we called Human Jerky. They're in a band called The Locust. That's kind of we got our kickstart sort of off of this band, The Locust, which a lot of nerds might be into.
I love them.
Yeah, dude, that's easily one of my favorite bands ever from this city. But they helped. They had a big presence in the post-hardcore, grind scene, and the band wanted to back then there was this thing called carcass cloning going on where this band Carcass meant a whole lot to a whole lot of people, specifically the album Symphonies of Sickness, Necroticism, and Recaputrefaction. And they were a couple of the people in the band were vegetarians, and they had this take on death metal. Everyone's talking about Satan or killing or war or whatever, and they their covers took meat and would put slabs of beef and shit into images of corpses and of human corpses from the morgue and crap like that, and that always stuck with me. I always thought that was cool. Never was a big fan of meat myself, so when I joined Cattle, I was just like, yeah, I could do this. And the rest is kind of history. We tried picking up the torch that Carcass dropped when they stopped playing, and it morphed into something else, just like everything else does. You start with one idea and it turns into something else, and hopefully you can stumble on something that can become your proprietary thing or your own. Because I do not in any way suggest people just go out and copy others. But if you can, be influenced by somebody and morph it into your own thing, that's obviously optimal. I just don't think it took us a while to really find our footing and really get our footing and be able to, stand strong. I think our album 2009, The Harvest Floor is, and the one before it, Karma Bloody Karma, was where I feel things started getting more interesting, and I've always been more of an experimental person. And we started throwing in, a little bit of black metal elements, a little bit of, just spastic grind. We were always really into spastic, grindy stuff, and somehow trying to, make it to where it's not just a wall of noise. But,
yeah, dude, you guys have, from where you started with the early stuff to where you've come now, I think you mentioned there were little hints of what you wanted to do early on. But I was talking to Vinny at Metal Blade, and we were talking like one of the last times I saw him. Jesus Christ! It was at a festival. It was like the beer festival. I forget what the
Decibel or something.
Decibel, yeah. And I think your album had just come out. I think it was the end of 2019, maybe. And we were talking about like your album, and we were like, dude, like it's so, like really, like, yeah, I know, like, yeah, I know. And I was like, man, like I remember hearing like the parts of what they're becoming like early on, and he was talking about how he heard the same thing, and this just feels like the culmination of all the little sounds and flavors that you've kind of been toying with. It all kind of came to this culmination in this last record. To go back a little bit, I know you mentioned you felt like you hit your stride around 2009. I got into you guys 2004. I had just graduated from high school. I was driving up to Northern California. I'm also from Southern California. I was driving up to like the San Francisco Bay Area where I went to school. And like at one of the gas stations, I grabbed a Revolver magazine. And it was actually this. It was this cover. It's got Lamb of God on it. I forget like.
Yeah.
So you guys were in this because they had a little like blurb about Humanor in it.
Yeah.
And so this was my very first like I think I had heard your name, Cattle Decapitation, very striking, but I don't think I had ever like seen anything. I heard a couple maybe like songs or something like that, but that magazine specifically highlighted you guys as San Diego. I think they called you San Diego Vegetarian Death Grind.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck does that mean? And then the album cover.
Good.
The album cover of the cow shitting the human body parts. I remember thinking like, this is the craziest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life.
Brad.
And so this was my intro to you guys. And this is where like, I was obsessed from this album cover. And I hadn't even heard it. I think I must have heard some, but I remember thinking like putting it all together with the album cover of Humanor and then listening to the music being like, these guys are fucking insane. And yeah, like just the one after the other has been crazy, but what is like, so, and there was this one time when I had Humanor like out, and I think like I had the CD like on my floor or something, and like my dad walked in the room, and I was already doing like bad in school, like I wasn't getting.
Oh no!
Like
one of those. God, I remember that. Go ahead.
I had come home like maybe a couple of weeks before, and like I'd come home drunk, and like my parents were mad because I was in high school and I'd come home drunk. So like they were just like, man, what's this kid doing? And so then my dad walks into my room and he sees this album cover and he goes, Tom, what are you doing?
Yeah. Oh, dude, I know. I've thought the same way about ourselves, and we're the ones that put that shit out. And I like that. I think it's funny when you could. I remember with Karma. God, my dad, dude, you'll like this. The same thing happened. I remember we put out Karma, Bloody Karma, which is the album after that, and it's got this, cow on it. My dad is a very liberal, conscious of societal, he's a very socially aware guy, I guess you could say. And, that was the cover or whatever. And so that's basically a kind of an iteration of Shiva, or, I guess it would be Shiva, the Indian god of destruction. I probably got that completely wrong. Anyways, my dad looked at it and he goes, Travis, the same thing. Kind of like, really? You're still doing this? Like, he goes, you need to be a little more conscious of other people's, feelings and religious beliefs. And I was just like, what? Oh. I didn't even think about it like that. I didn't even think about it like that. I was thinking, karma has a blade for all of humanity. That was the one of the lyrics that stuck through, and I was kind of focusing on, and I didn't even think, oh shit, this might be trampling on somebody else's beliefs. And I try to be conscious of that as much as possible, just not when it comes to Anglo-Saxon religion or
Sure.
whatever you call it. Christianity and Catholicism. I feel like I have a case there to talk shit about that stuff.
I feel like you were the first. You were the first time. I mean, aside from like I think like Rage Against the Machine, maybe like like mainstream, like that. Rage Against the Machine is like okay, like politically, socially aware. But I think your band was the first time that I listened to something that had like way more meaning behind like words and music, and just the thought that went into the lyrics wasn't just about like being brutal or being like, there were those things there, but you really had a message you were trying to get across. So that always appealed to me because I felt like there was just there's an entire other layer behind just the music.
Yeah.
That you can kind of like nerd out on and think about it. Which made me kind of like nerd out on you guys more because it made me read the lyrics closer. It made me like try to make connections. And so I did hear you talking about specifically that inspired your like lyrics, and the things you talk about was having a job at Arby's. And for those who can't see this, I just Google searched Arby's. I didn't even put Arby's gross. I didn't even put like I just Google searched Arby's, and it's the grossest thing you could think of that you see.
Well, working there was atrocious. That was my first ever job. Where I went out on the books, and I think I was like 15, 16, whatever, like when they will hire high school kids or whatever, but it's like based on however that went. I try to forget about it, but it really soured me on doing those kind of jobs for sure. It was just nasty. You're probably talking about where I had to, the roast beef or whatever I think that was the roast beef sandwich. A lot of edgy people in the comments are going to be saying like, yeah, that's how I like it. Extra protein gel, please. Oh, 'cause I'm that brutal. You're a vegetarian pussy. Okay. It was this big mass that you'd put on the table or whatever. And it came with this protein gel that was like that thick. It was like an inch thick, dude, that you had to pack. I don't know if they still do this, but back in 1990 or when, it might have been 89, 90. I was like 15, 16 years old. I had to pack this crap you have to pack it to where the gel over time, it takes like 10, 15 minutes to pack this shit into the meat, and it would finally go into the folds of the meat. And it was like this protein fat gel of some sort that was just nasty. And that was just my early, like, meat is just gross. It's just disgusting. And then, learning about what really is in it and how it's really made. And I could attribute a lot of that to Carcass, just like to where you don't think about that shit when you're a kid. You don't give a shit unless somebody's, teaching you to do that. And I didn't have that. My parents they ate everything. So it was just, that'll do it, man. It's just nasty.
What I don't understand the science behind that. Is it because it was like,
I don't know.
Was it dehydrated or then you had to rehydrate it?
Good point. I really don't know. I forget what they said. That place is gross, dude. We would drop, countless times I'd see the manager drop a patty or a bun, and he'd just like put it right back on there and serve it to the people,
We'd like to thank our sponsor Arby's for latest episode.
They've got the meats. We just don't want to know what's in it.
Dude, like, I feel like most fast food places have at least tried to change things up to appeal more to like the health conscious, but this is like recent. Like I don't think Arby's gives a fuck. Like,
that's part of their marketing campaign.
Yeah.
And
if you check down there, there's also like a fried chicken cutlet.
Yeah. I think they just try to go for they see everybody else moving, progressing towards, let's face it, dude. It's a marketing tactic. Even Taco Bell getting Beyond Meat, Del Taco or whoever getting Beyond Meat and stuff.
They don't really fucking care.
They don't give a shit. They just want the customers, and they see a market there, and they want to corner it.
It's another group of people that you can bring in.
But hey, it's more shit that I can eat on the road when I'm relegated to a friggin' Carl's Jr. because we're at a petrol. What do you call it? What starts with a P? Anyway, you're at a gas station in the middle of nowhere, and that's all you got is these disgusting fast foods or whatever. I mean, you've been able to eat. You could do vegan, vegetarian, or whatever at Taco Bell, no problem. It's always been that way.
But not like in the middle of nowhere when there's like
at 3 a.m. No.
Right. What do you do? Like, so you have to like pre-pack? I don't understand how people can do that. Like, how are you able to eat on the road?
Well, when we had a van and we toured by van, it was way harder. Now we can actually shop, and we take they're called bandwagons or it's a poor man's tour bus kind of thing. It's just within the affordability range. Tour buses are just stupid.
Is it like a Sprinter?
No. It's like a big, it's like an RV. No, not RV, not an RV. It's like an RV, but and it sleeps, I think, 9 bunks or something.
Oh shit.
Yeah, they're sick. I love it. Wow. It's got a shower in the back that totally works. It's it's hot and I love it. It's perfect. Like when we get off stage, we've actually physically ran and raced, me and Dave, before to try to be the first person at the at the shower on the bus. I will skip showers that are actually in the venues because the one on the bus is so sick.
Yeah, that's fucking rad.
So it's got a full fridge. There
it is.
Microwave, toaster oven, or we bring all that stuff. We bring panini presses and crap like that, and we try to eat. I mean, it's cheaper to do that anyways.
Yeah.
But we try to we can keep it stocked with the same kind of crap we'd have here at home. We don't have, there's not a stove and a hot plate or anything like that on there, but, you eat crappy regardless. It's kind of unavoidable on the road.
So I wanted to, we're already at an hour mark, and I don't want to keep you too long. I know you got shit to do. So let me just real quick wrap it up. But before we do, I was lucky enough to catch you guys in Pomona. Was this end of 2019? I want to say when you guys are on tour.
I can't. It looks like it might be. I'm trying to see the stage production.
It was gnarly, dude. You guys definitely had. It was all like backlit with fucking red and like yellow. It was murderous.
Yeah, we had our. That's right. We had our own lights and light rig, which is rare.
You guys fucking crushed, and I think you played LA like the night or two before, and so we were, I think, maybe the second to last stop on that tour. And I remember you said, dude, and like the crowd was fucking great. Like the crowd was going off. There was like 2 circle pits almost the whole time, and like you stopped like mid after one of the songs. You stopped and you're like, Pomona, we were not expecting this. Like, how fucking good the crowd was. And I remember just being like, fuck yeah. Because I've been to shows in LA, and it's like,
because they get everything, dude.
Oh,
they get everything. It's shit. Same in Europe.
Yeah.
They get everything. So when you get everything and anything that you want, touring before you or coming in through there, because in Europe this is a full blown lifestyle. There's people in their 70s that wear patch vests and shit. I mean, it's a thing. In the States, it tends to be a little more flavor of the month, tends to be a little more flighty.
Mm-hmm.
Over there, specifically in Germany and stuff. It's very much a lifestyle, and people take it very seriously. So, but they get everything, and there's bands all over the world that can tour Europe successfully, but they come here and nobody knows who the fuck they are. Nobody gives a shit. And so you get a lot of that. Chicago is another one where it's a lot of, but I've noticed on our last couple tours when we're headlining and stuff, because when you're support, a lot of people just want to see that headliner sometimes, depending on the package. So I see it's been getting a lot better, people being a lot more into it. And I think Pomona, that's a big venue, dude.
Glass
for somewhere
house,
for Inland Empire, that's kind of a big venue. So to see it packed like that was extremely nice, and it's nice to know I didn't waste my college years for nothing.
Yeah, dude, it's there's a little there's been a little scene out here for a bit out in the Inland Empire, and it's great. Like when you see the crowd response so well. Like, dude, I mean, I think we had a couple of years back before you guys. Another one that I remember where it was fucking awesome was Morbid Angel, Suffo co-headlining, and that crowd was fucking so sick. Like, and I love that, man. Like the Glass House crowds tend to be pretty cool whenever like death metal comes through, and I love it, man. It's because the kids are so fucking young now that you see them going to the shows, and I love seeing that like they're all into it, and the people that are on stage are getting that, they're getting the energy back from them stuff. So yeah, dude, I don't want to keep you too much longer. I just wanted to, this was fucking rad, man. Like this was a lot of fun.
Cool.
Maybe when you guys, or maybe when you are a little bit more caught up on your G.I. Joe collection, you can come back and talk about that a little bit more. Or
yeah.
if you are,
honestly, dude, I'm so thankful that they put out this that new movie's coming up. I'm not interested in the slightest in it.
Guys?
Yeah, I don't care. And that they're actually going to finally be doing toys for that, because that means I don't have to buy anymore. I can just enjoy the few that I got from the retro line and stuff. Because God, dude, it was tough, dude. Last year it was burning a hole in my wallet. I'm like, dude, pandemic. I'm not on the road. I'm not really making much money, and you're gonna drop this shit on me? Come on.
Right.
And then it was a pain in the ass to find. I'm not gonna burn gas and fuel driving around looking for this shit. But I eventually got one of each as things open up, and made me think maybe there was like one of those barges out off of the coast in LA that were sitting there for months not being able to bring their products in or whatever. Like, I'm like, is it all just sitting on there? That would be an answer. But Hasbro's so non-forthcoming with shit. It's just,
yeah, dude.
Who knows? But there is some. I've been doing some voiceover stuff that kind of ties into that. Which might be cool to announce at some point. But
that's sick.
I'm waiting to see how it all turns out. But yeah, dude, really,
that's fucking rad.
Really, I did one of my dreams come true. Was recently I got to go and do some stuff and sit in with basically a bunch of the people, the actors, and the main guy, Flint Dilla, and people behind the 1986 Transformers, the movie. And
oh shit,
I can't talk about it, but that was one of the greatest days of my life.
Dude,
absolute greatest days of my life. But if you'll see when I can't when this shit is coming out or whatever, and I could talk more about it, I'm gonna be bragging like crazy. Well,
fuck, man, come over here and brag about it if you're able to. We want to hear about it.
Rad.
Cool, man. Well, hey, I appreciate it. Thanks so much for your time, dude. You know what? I almost fucking forgot to tell people to check you out on Twitch, because that's the whole reason. Oh yeah. I wanted to have you on.
I blew it, man. See, that's the thing. I'm new to it. And everyone's just like, dude, you got to do this. You got to really go headlong into this thing. And I totally blew it too. There you go. I'm on Twitch now. I do. This whole last year, I just started. This whole last year, I've been playing Warzone nightly with my buddies, and like I said earlier in the podcast, I kicking myself in the ass for not starting it back then, because I'd probably be more of a partner now and not just an affiliate. I reached affiliate in 4 streams, which everyone says that's amazing or something.
Fuck yeah, it is.
I don't know, but but that's cool. So I can I can get followers and subs and all that crap. So come on over. We try to make it more of a podcast like this, where I got my buddy Jim, who used to work at Metal Blade, and he's just tons of hilarious insider stories from working at Metal Blade with bands like Cannibal Corpse and King Diamond and stuff like that. So he's got just some of the funniest stories, and so we try to make it like half podcast where we're just shooting the shit, talking about.
That's why I love
crap and
I really want people listening to this, if you are interested in like touring musician lifestyles, that's why this is so fucking cool, because like half the time you guys are playing, the entertaining part is watching you play games, but the better part for me is that hearing like tour stories, hearing like behind the scenes stuff that like you are the only types of guys out there who can offer that kind of stuff, because you're the ones living the lifestyle doing it, and it's giving us an insight into a new world that like we didn't have before. I mean, it's almost as this is next to like having a camera next to you on the tour bus 24/7. Like this is the next
total
best
fly on the wall. Total fly
Yeah.
on the wall.
So
That's
I love that you're on it. I love that more guys are getting on it. I hope that you find time now that stuff starts coming back in between tours, and you're able to kind of dip back into it when you're home and stuff like that. And it's cool because like fucking 4 streams and you're already an affiliate. That's really insane, dude.
Oh, good.
So if you keep it up, man, like, and if people who are watching this follow Travis on Twitch, because you can even make a little side change doing it, man. That supports you and supports the band. So, yeah, man, best of luck to that. Please go follow Travis on Twitch. Go follow him on his socials. Check out Death Atlas. You got a new one that you're working on. That should be coming out.
We figured we're not going to just sit around for a year. Started working on it a little bit late last year, and now we're about 5 songs in. So we got tour, studio time booked next year, and basically, dude, this year's a wash for.
Right.
I mean, we'll see what happens with everybody else. Looks like it might be fine. Next year, I know. We'll see, dude.
We'll be hopeful. We'll be hopeful.
Carnifex has at least so far managed to get out east and hopefully back. It just depends on if every state is 100% and if promoters can make that, whatever restrictions are in place. Hopefully, promoters can make it work because at the end of the day, everything hinges on them, And our first tour is starting in January. So, and then we're just going to be gone. I mean, we need to give Death Atlas a shot. It's my favorite record we've done. It's the set we were doing before everything closed down. That when you saw, it's my favorite set that we've ever done. I think it's everything I've always wanted this band to achieve, and we need to give that record its fair shake. We didn't get to tour enough for it. Usually we do almost 3 years of touring and then write a record and then have it out within 4 years of the last one. So this kind of threw a wrench into the gears, and that's why we're going to basically be touring Death Atlas right into whatever the next record is.
That being said, man, at least from my standpoint, from what I see and from what I've heard as a fan and hearing other fans talk about it, like universally fucking applauded like this last album. I mean, honestly, the last couple, but this one is like the culmination of the last several, where it's like, fuck, man, these guys are on another level now. And that's exactly what it feels like and sounds like. And I fucking hate it for you guys that COVID like took the legs out from under it. And so many bands suffered from that. So many bands like released great shit and didn't get the chance to like get it out there. So I'm hoping that you guys get that opportunity. I'm hoping that people listening check you out. Thanks so much for coming by, dude.
All right, thank you, dude. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. All right. Well, you have a good one, all right?
You too, Holmes.
All right, Travis. Take it easy.
Take it easy.
Later.
Later.